welcome you back. It is 6 o'clock, so we are going to reconvene our meeting. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate seeing all of you here, and I love seeing you all in your blue shirts. We met in closed session. There was no action taken on items number 1 and 2 regarding labor negotiations, nor item 3, our superintendent evaluation. So with that, we are going to move right into the Pledge of Allegiance, led by our students from Lakeview, followed by highlights from Principal Tiger.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please put your right hand over your heart.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you everyone for coming. I even have one that came that wasn't even here today. She drove all the way from Chula Vista. Made my day. Okay. So I am Tiger Rowan, the principal here at Lakeview. That is my awesome big hat. Just so you know, if you haven't seen it, you probably just drive by and see it from a few blocks over. There's my awesome staff right there. They're my support animals. So back in September, I presented a couple things that we were going to work on this year. The 2 things we were going to work on were our chronic absenteeism and our math scores on CASP. And so, just jumping right in, we've been working on our attendance, and English learner attendance was at 12% last year. We've dropped it down to 7% chronic absenteeism, so it's a drop of 5%, or increase of attendance of 5%. I'm going to say that. Overall, for the whole school, last year we were at 7% chronic absenteeism, and we are currently at 4%. So, overall attendance rate was 95.8 at this point last year, and now it's at 96.5. So we have done well with that. All right. Jumping into math, we know that that was our focus for the past couple of years, being with math transformations, and at our site, we've been working on CGI, which is cognitive guided instruction, where the teacher leads the students through the math discussion. The ideas come from the students, the teacher kind of draws it out and leads them through a discussion. So 4 years ago, I presented to you guys, we talked about how our classes were working in small groups, working with manipulatives, sharing ideas in small settings. 3 years ago, we discussed how my students were up to the board and sharing their ideas with the class. 2 years ago, we talked about how each classroom had success criteria, a list of things that their answer in their math problem should have. They can go check on that. And then last year, our big focus on math was to use what we call Austin's butterfly, or basically students self-evaluating themselves to see what is missing or what they need to add to move from left to right across the progression with their math. So with all that, we're hopefully going to improve our scores by 10%. Our scores went up 3%. Increase is good, but we wanted to be at 10%. We had set ourselves a pretty high standard with that. We didn't achieve it, even though, and so the thing is, we didn't achieve it, and with this staff, we always go back and we go, okay, what do we do different? Because you do the same thing, it's not going to improve. So we went back and we thought, okay, what can we do different? We brainstormed with the people at SDSU Center for Research in Math and Science and Education, specifically the Cognitive Guided Instruction branch, on what we could do. And an idea came to us from Sharon Armstrong. She had gone to see a classroom. She had been in 3 years of CGI, going to summer institutes, learning the lessons, doing it with me for like 5 years. And she went to a classroom in Macomb Valley where they had a little thing, and she watched a teacher doing it in the classroom, and it clicked. And she said, Tiger, we should do that here. So I talked to the people at SDSU, and they came out 3 times for each grade level, and they came out and the students were presented a lesson, the teachers presented a lesson to the students, they brought their work back, and with the person from SDSU, they looked through the papers and planned a model lesson. And then that person from SDSU went to the classroom and then modeled the lesson. So we had 9 total visits and 21 model lessons in the classroom. So each teacher saw 3 times a model lesson. And then after that, after they saw her, either that afternoon or the next day, would go and try it on themselves. We are very convinced that was the step we needed to get us to that 10%. Give you an example. So here's a math problem that was presented to a first grade classroom. Scotty has 4 cakes. Each cake is cut into 12 slices. How many slices of the cake does Scotty have in all? A lot of students took the little cubes, they drew the 4 cakes, they put 12 slices in there using base 10 blocks or little bears. Some people used the actual base 10 blocks and did, that should be 12. Pretend like it's 12, okay? Sorry, I've had a perfect image and it didn't even, well, anyways, that's 12. A lot of people use the base 10 blocks to make 12, they count across that way, they group the 10s and they group the 1s. I've been through this so many times, I did not catch that. Anyways, then 2 boys in this one class had written this on the board. The first boy is the top, and the second boy is the bottom. And the boy on the top had asked the boy on the bottom, like, what did you do? And that's where the CGI part comes in, because he was intrigued, he was motivated. He's like, okay, well, what did you do I don't understand your bottom. Can you explain to me better? So the teacher had him explain it during class, but then she didn't have a video, so she brought that back up to the board afterwards to have him explain, okay, child A to child B, because he was genuinely interested, like, how did you go from there to there? So I have that video right here to show you.
¿Qué hiciste?
Well, I just did 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. Then I did 12 plus 12 equals 24. 12 plus 12 equals 24. And then I added the errors, and there's 24 plus 24 equals 48. All I did was 12 plus 12 plus 12 equals 48.
Los dos están bien, ¿verdad? ¿Tú qué ves, joven?
I see that Quinn did 12 plus 12 plus 24. It's 24, but he did a total 24.
¿Tú puedes ver por qué hiciste un 20? ¿Cuántos pasteles hizo señora Cruz Quinn? No, ¿cuántos pasteles? ¿Y este es un pastel?
And then I did my bears.
12 más 12 es... estos son 2. Y estos son otros 2.
Yeah, and then I did that, and then it's 24, and then the arrows point there to this direction. The both 24s go together and it's 48.
Okay.
So having had 21 sessions in the classroom, each teacher seeing 3 of those, we are very confident that we will reach our 10% this year. So as I was doing this, like a little epiphany I had right before break. So I'm walking, right before break we have all our, winter parties, we have our stock exchange, we have our different games, we have our tables covered in wrapping paper. And I asked a student, Stephanie Jake's son, I happened to say, okay, what was your favorite thing you did today? And he goes, we played this awesome math game in Miss Baca's class. Okay, not the sock change, not the coffee, I'm not talking about the hot chocolate, none of that. And I said, well, tell me about this game. And he went on and on about this game. And so it made me have a moment of pause, okay? We've been working on our math. We've been working on our CAS scores. And don't get me wrong, test scores are the standard by which we're measured. I've heard that phrase for 4 years in this district. And it is what we are measured by every district. But I think that what is really our goal in education? Is it just test scores, or is there something really deeper? And when Hudson said that, I started thinking about this quote by Albert Einstein. I'll let you guys read it. So the question is, how do we create lifelong learners? And the simplest way to create lifelong learners is make them to want to learn. And how do we get them to want to learn? Learning has to be fun. They have to enjoy it. That's the thing. If they enjoy learning, they'll do it their whole life. And that is our bigger goal. So I go back 5 years when I first got there. My first thing that we started talking about at our school was we're going to make everything in our school fun. And I'll ask you this. So top of your head, I did this 5 years ago with you guys. Top of your head, think of your favorite activity you did when you were in elementary school. A lot of people think of like a science project. You might think of your California mission project that you made. Not a single one of you will say a worksheet. I'll bet my life on it. And that's been the rule. We have moved in our classroom. If you get to choose between, hey, do we cover the standards, or do we do something that's a little more fun to get them engaged? We choose the fun thing. They have melded together things like when we do they do a electricity, like the science, and this gigantic play they do, where they learn about all the science and ohms and watts and that kind of stuff, but it's through a play and songs. That's the kind of stuff we've been working on. I had a school tour 2 weeks right before winter break, like the 15th or whatever it was. Parent left, came back, she sent me an email, and this is what she said in that email. This is why she went to our school, she said. She's been to Bostonia, no offense to River Valley or Riverview, but she went there too. She came over to ours and she said, I'm choosing your school because kids should actually be having fun while they're learning. She could see it walking through the kindergarten classroom, walking through the TK classrooms. She could tell this is a place where kids have fun, and that's where she wanted to send her kid. I don't think I do believe there's a 100% correlation between our attendance rates improving. We haven't done really anything besides make things more fun. That's been our focus. Sean Williams had a kid in her TK class cry because they had a 4-day weekend back on Veterans Day weekend because he couldn't come to school on Monday and Tuesday. We had daily, Jackie can affirm, we have kids that will go out to the dentist in the middle of the day and they'll be mad and they'll come back at like 1:45 because they don't want to miss the afternoon. They want to be at school. And I circle back to the math part of it, because if math is fun, those test scores will go up. I mean, 3% is what we had. We have the instruction that the teachers are learning about, but now we have that fun element that they're gonna, so I'll just put it in the kids' words. They can explain it better than I can.
Math was very stressful because everybody was always whining.
Albert Einstein once said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. That idea lives in our classrooms here at Lakeview, because here, learning math starts with us explaining our thinking.
We do math at Lakeview. It's really easy to understand. Sometimes our teacher have us be partner. We talk together to solve the problems, and it's really fun. And I like sharing it with my friends. It's helping us because when you socialize, it helps your brain think better. And Miss Thomas is more of how do I put this? Funner. Let's just say that.
When we do math, it just feels different. We don't start with a worksheet, we start with a problem.
Math for me is really fun because it's just a brain problem that I get to work out, and it's really fun.
We get time to think, we try it on our own way. Sometimes we draw it, sometimes we use numbers. Sometimes we explain it out loud.
When you make learning fun, kids actually want to do it, and when kids want to do it, they pay attention.
Then something cool happens. We share how we solved it.
I put 7 of these cups and I split them each into 3.
It's better when kids explain it because you're also a kid, so you probably won't know the same thing. But when you're an adult, you know more than kids, so they explain it different than you would think.
Adults mean well, though sometimes kids can explain it just in a way where they understand it best.
Scientifically proven that when kids help other kids, it helps them learn better.
When we listen to each other, we learn new ideas. I learn it better when I help someone else.
Sometimes when other kids help each other, it's better because when adults and teachers try helping, they try using fancy words that kids don't understand.
When you explain it to somebody else, it really sinks in because you pretty much say it a second time and they acknowledge what you're saying, so you get feedback of what you're doing.
Even if our answers was the same, the path can be different. Math feels like a conversation, not a test, not a race.
It's really interesting how we get to do our partner work together because we get to explain it to each other, and it's been very fun for me, and I love math.
A lot of times it feels like a game.
Games are more appealing to children, and we're children.
When learning feels like play, you want to keep going. You don't worry about being wrong. You focus on figuring it out.
I like math, it's pretty good.
I like math, it's fun.
Math feels fun here.
Because when it's fun, you want to do it more. And so I want to do math more because Ms. Thomas is putting it in a fun way.
This is how we learn at Lakeview. We think, we talk, we play, and we grow.
I love math.
Sorry. So cute. There we go. Someone hit with that slide right there. Pretty much that's what she said there. When math is funner, you want to learn more. So, thank you guys for making. I said I was going to do it. Thank you. That's it. Questions?
Did anyone do a pool to see if you cry or not? You should have told me because I would have made sure to just pour more on so you all would.
We asked that because there was one.
There was one last month that Lee did that too, so.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Robin, so.
That was very powerful, Tiger, and I see those kids and watch them in the video and their eyes and their excitement, and it obviously is funner. Thank you. And staff.
Yes.
And parents.
I would just say thank you for posing the question to the board in that manner. When we sit up here thinking about how to help you guys do what we want you to do, which is help our kids learn, right? Asking us that question of, should we be thinking it in different terms, thinking about it in different terms. That's always helpful for me. I think for the rest I don't want to speak for the rest of my colleagues, but it's helpful for me just because I think about how I want kids to, be the best they can be, and then what tools can we use to support our staff in that endeavor. And so sometimes the strategy may have to look different, and sometimes we need to think a little differently. So I do appreciate you raising that question with us.
I appreciate it. Actually brought back memories for me of my own kids actually at Lakeside Farms when we used to have a math club, and Scott ran a math club, and the kids played math games before school and after school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I have those in my cupboard. I'm gonna go pull those out again. They loved doing that, and they hated missing school on those days. So, yeah, because it's fun. So I appreciate that. I appreciate if you walked down memory lane because of it. Thank you. All right, any other questions?
No, just thank you for everything.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are doing great things. So, thanks.
Thank you, guys. All right.
All right, we're going to move on to trustee reports and comments. Jim Bennett.
Good evening, nothing for me.
All right, Andrew Hayes.
Yeah, good evening. I want to welcome everybody back after the new year, and as everybody leaves, goodbye, see you. And thank you for being here. But I was at TES this morning for their fantastic award ceremony. that they had for their trimester 1. Was the holiday potluck. I'm looking forward to our behaviors meeting that we have next week and our budget meeting. And I encourage any members of the public leaving to come. So I just want to thank everybody for their work last year. It's kind of hard to believe that it's January and the time we were here last was before Christmas. Like, it doesn't feel like that, so welcome back. I think that's all. If there are more people here, I'd share a larger comment that I have, but I will wait for that opportunity. That's all for me.
Sounds good. Ron Casper?
Yeah, let's just like to welcome staff back, and this year is going so quickly, and before we know it, we'll have our graduations and promotions. I just can't believe it. I spent some time at Lakeview at their TK. These are the little ones, right? And it was a lot of fun at TK and visiting with the staff there. Also, for the holidays, was at Linwood Park. Their showcase, had a great time there. And then I went over to LEAP for their winter program, Winter Fest, where I used to sub regularly, and it's just an amazing place. And then finally I was at Lakeside Farms for their reindeer dash, which was really incredible to see these kids running and getting awards, and everybody was winning, and it was just really a lot of fun. So look forward to more visits in the next upcoming weeks. Thank you.
Autumn Edmondson.
All right, mine's a little short, but I also went to the TDS Awards, but it was for 6th grade, so it was last week. And that was really fun and really great to see. They had, I think it was like 75% of the class or something this year got awards. Like, it was I'm misquoting maybe the percentage, but it was really high, very, very high. So we all kind of looked at each other and thought, well, this is going to be a long awards show, but it was really incredible to see all the kids get up there. I went to the beginner dance show last night at LMS, and the first group came out, and I thought, this isn't beginner dance. Did they mix other people, other crews in? Because they were really good, and you could tell some of the kids have less experience than others, but there was, every single class came out and just did amazing stuff. And then one other thing, on February 5th, the Mandarin program at TDS is having their trade show. And it's where all of the students, all of the Mandarin students have been making different things, and all day they have like a trade fair. So they go and they sell and buy each other's items. So I know for sure there will be some earrings there. I go shopping for some earrings, but that was it. That's it for me.
All right. For me, I attended the Dream Market that they had. I gotta say, I think everyone was there. Like, that place was full. And for a little school to fill their entire playground and field was really cool. So I got to buy some Christmas presents for people. All the kids had a project that they were selling. So bought some Christmas presents, got to see all that fun stuff. We've been continuing to do work in the policy committee. You'll see those policies come up again today. I attended last night the beginning dance concert as well, and then this morning the 7th grade awards also. So it feels like it's not January, and it feels like it's September already. For some reason, things are just really busy and time is flying, and I can't believe we're halfway through the school year already. I don't know what happened. I blinked and here we are. So with that, I'm going to move on to opportunity for members of the public to address the board. Do we have any public comment today? We do not. Okay. With that, we're going to move on to recognitions, and I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Burgess.
Lakeside Union School District staff thank our school board members for their dedication to student achievement and learning, and I do have a School Board Recognition Month proclamation that I get to read. Whereas an excellent public education system is vital to the quality of life for all California citizens and communities, and whereas Board of Education members are committed to children, believe that all children can be successful learners, and that the best education is tailored to the individual needs of the child, and whereas Board of Education members continue to advocate to best serve the children in our community each and every day, and whereas our public education system has faced unprecedented circumstances these past 5 years as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and resulting learning loss, and whereas our local Board of Education continues to act to ensure children's academic, social, emotional, physical, and mental health needs are met so they can become their best selves, and whereas Board of Education members work closely with parents, school staff, educational professionals, and other community members to create the healthiest environments possible where all students can thrive, and whereas Board of Education members are responsible for building and maintaining the structure that provides a solid foundation for our school system, and whereas Board of Education members are strong advocates for public education, are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district, and whereas the mission of public schools to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society and an ever-changing world is more poignant than ever before, I, Scott Gergens, do hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Board of Education, proclaim the month of January 2026 as School Board Recognition Month in Lakeside. I urge all community members to join me in recognizing the dedication and the hard work of our local school board members and working with them to create an education system that meets the needs of our children. So, and again, just want to thank our board for your constant focus and determination towards improving our system in Lakeside. So thank you all.
So moved.
We appreciate that. It feels weird giving recognition ourselves for some things we're so used to giving it out.
Yeah,
Receiving lots of feedback.
that was a great proclamation, but you guys are really the boots on the ground. I honestly feel like we have the easy kind of side of things. We just sort of dictate what we want you guys to do, and then you do it. So I appreciate everybody, I do appreciate the proclamation, but again, it's really you all and the rest of the staff and the district that makes it happen. So thank you. Thank you very much.
I think we're all here because we have a passion for kids and education. We want everybody to have the best, and I think when we have that, it shows and it helps everybody move along and keep moving forward. So thank you. All right, we will go straight into the consent agenda today. So we are going to looking for a motion to designate items to the consent agenda. Thank you. Autumn, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Andrew. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. All right, are there any items that you guys would like to pull from the agenda?
Not for me.
No? No? All right. With that, I will be looking for a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda as is.
So moved.
Thank you, Jim. And a second? Thank you, Ron. Any further discussion on that? Nope. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. No. Please, that will pass as well. So we are going to move right along. So that puts us right into our discussion items, and the enrollment report was included in your packet. Were there any questions or comments on that? No? All right. Legislative updates. Anything?
No, they just started back, so there'll be a lot more coming.
Let the games begin.
Let the games begin, baby. And our freedoms are now at risk, that's okay. And then the only thing is the budget. I'm eager to hear some insight from folks next week. And I'm eager to hear, I've been hearing a little bit, I've been reading a little bit. So sounds promising-ish, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have the deep dive on Thursday. I know you're attending the meeting at the county office. I know I am as well, and I think you are as well. So
Yeah.
hopefully that'll give us some good information also to bring into Thursday's meeting.
Sam will be, the day that we're having Samantha will be at the school services.
Oh, okay, good. So, lots of information coming our way Thursday then.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything under legislative updates? No.
I just had a question. And I mentioned it to you. The courts have recently, like within the last week or so, have ruled out that you can't not disclose if a student is changing their gender or their identity, whatever, and whatever.
So that's going to be handled in policy committee, and it's already being addressed in policy committee, so that you'll be seeing some changes to those policies like very soon, because that's currently before the policy.
Yeah, they had, the judge made the ruling, then of course it went to appeals again.
And you'll recall,
Yeah,
Ron, that the specific Mirabelli versus Olson case, AR, this board voted to suspend enforcement on it anyway. So we did that back in 2024. So that was, so we did that already. The changes that we could make are now actually substantial wording changes to the policy, which we'll discuss in policy.
Okay.
any other questions, comments? Okay, so we will move to reports to the board. Carrie was not able to be here tonight, but she did send one, so I will read that for you guys. Carrie says, not too much has changed since the December meeting due to winter break. Thank you for coming by the many showcases, performances, and events at our schools in December. We know it is a super busy time of year, but our teachers really appreciate seeing you out on our campuses to see firsthand the wonderful experiences they have facilitated for our students. Right now, our teachers are focused on getting students back into the school routine after winter break and getting ready to start implementing MAPS testing. We will dig into that data in the weeks to come. We are interested to see how the special board meeting goes and hope some supportive actions will come from it, whether that means exploring new options or maintaining the things we know are currently working to support student needs. The LTA, as you know, is in negotiations with LUSD, and we meet tomorrow to work on coming to a tentative agreement. Bargaining can be a stressful time, but it is also a time where we are working together to solve issues and meet needs. This is how we build relationships, through these open and honest conversations around important topics. While there are some issues that have no room for movement, often there are others that have plenty, and it takes concessions from both parties to strike a deal. I want to thank you for supporting and trusting our teams to bargain fair and effective contracts without having attorneys at the table. There was a time not so long ago when LUSD and LTA had a very contentious and abrasive bargaining table. Some of you were not board members then, and we had a very different administration styles. Since then, and with the board's support, we've been able to work through tough topics in a respectful and efficient manner. This boils down to leadership from the board, from the superintendents, and LTA. I've seen firsthand how when people come to tables who don't have a local and personal interest in the success of that agreement, it can lengthen and even stall progress and collaboration. I'm also happy to share that the LTA has reached a tentative agreement with River Valley. Our members ratified that contract today, and their board will ratify it next week. We are hopeful that in the weeks to come, we can report the same about our negotiations with LUSD. We've had some questions about whether or not LTA is participating in the one-day strike that San Diego Educators Association has planned for February 26th. I think people hear San Diego Educators and presume it means any teacher in San Diego. No, we are not participating. This specifically is for SDEA. We do, however, support their cause, as we too believe all special education students should be receiving the services they need to be successful in school, which includes the appropriate staffing as set forth in their CBA. This one-day strike is specifically in response to an unfair labor practice that was filed pertaining to special education staffing and not resolved. It is not salary-based or any of the normal bargaining issues one might associate with a strike. Back home in LUSD, LTA teachers in grades 3 through 8 who volunteered are going to be participating in youth mental health first aid training and certification on the January PD Day. As I've shared previously, there is a no-cost program LTA is partnering with Ed Services and Youth Mental Health Services to host. Our teachers are so kind and compassionate when it comes to looking out and supporting our students' well-being. This is another tool in the toolbox that supports students. This wraps up my report for January. I hope you're all well and stay healthy out there. So that is from Carrie. Dave is not here, so I will move on to Lisa Davis.
I do not have anything to report out tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
Save my voice for next week.
Robert Vallerin.
Good evening. I don't know if this is going to work. There we go. Good evening. The Human Resources Department and the Pupil Services Department wishes everybody a wonderful new year. And our health department with our district nurses, we are in a period of change. Our district nurse, I want to give kudos to Michelle McCurdy. She's been our one of two district nurses for about 4 years. She has given notice and will be moving on to be a wonderful professor at Rosemont College, training, continuing to work with students, but in a different way. And so we are in the process of recruiting and interviewing for a replacement nurse. So looking forward to continuing the excellent nursing services that our site nurses have always given and continue to dedicate themselves to. And other than that, we're just busy in HR doing what we do. So thank you for your support, and thanks.
So I feel the same way that you guys feel about January. All of a sudden it's here and there's a lot of things happening in the winter for Ed Services. So we have our district-wide PD Day coming up on January 30th. It's the second one of the year. And we are going to be doing this one conference style, similar to how we did it in August. We got a lot of really positive feedback about the conference style event, so we're doing it again, and we are going to be offering, just like we did in August, several wellness sessions for our teachers. Thankfully, we have the wonderful partnership with NELA, so we're able to bring that to our teachers for free, which is awesome. So we'll do a little bit of self-care, meditation, sound healing kinds of sessions, and then alongside that, obviously, we will be doing a lot of professional development around literacy, behavior, immersion, and social emotional learning. So I think we probably have about 20 sessions for them to choose from throughout the course of the day. Some 1 hour, some 2 hours, some 3 hours, so it will be fun. It is also LCAP season, so that means that we are going to be starting to report out. So in February, I will give you my mid-year update like I do every year. And then we are also launching our thought exchanges next week, and the thought exchange seeks to gather input from parents, teachers, staff, community members, and then our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students also participate in a student thought exchange survey. So I'll be bringing you the results of that survey in February, along with a lot of other data related to our LCAP goals. And then also, LCAP goals, because I'm transitioning to LPAC, which also happens at this time of year, which is our annual summative exam for our English learners to see how they are progressing. So the LPAC assesses student competency in 4 domains of language: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So every English learner takes this assessment every year. And as you all know, the progress of our English learners, the achievement of our English learners is a huge focus in our LCAP, so we look forward to gathering that data, reclassifying some students, and continuing to make the really amazing gains that we've been making with our English learner population over the last couple of years. And then one other exciting piece of good news that I have to share is that we just received word on Monday that we were awarded the Strong Workforce Partnership Grant again for the 4th year in a row. Our award this year is $192,000, and that money will be used to serve DREAM, LMS, and TDS. In the past, it was just LMS and TDS, but DREAM joined this year. DREAM and TDS are primarily using their funds to purchase the Patterson labs for career technical education experiences for students. So that their money will be to purchase the labs, get professional development on using the labs, and release time for teachers to get that professional development. And then LMS is going kind of a different route. They're going to be using their funds to enhance their FFA program, and will be updating their chicken coop and some hands-on opportunities for students in FFA as well as conference attendance. And then including the $192,000 we were just awarded, that brings us over the $500,000 mark. Over the last 4 years, we've received $518,000 in strong workforce partnership dollars in Lakeside. So we're super proud of that, and I know that our schools are excited to implement the grant and update their programs. And that is it for me.
All right, Scott Perkins.
I want to thank Lakeview for the presentation, their presence at the board meeting, and also I love seeing the artwork up. I really makes me happy when I come in and get to see the great student artwork, so thank you to Lakeview for that. And then I do have a presentation. I feel like a veteran superintendent now because I passed the 6-month mark. But I did want to share with the board what work that I did in analyzing our board goals and the implementation on the school site. So let me make this. So yeah, 6-month evaluation update to the Board of Trustees. The purpose is to provide a mid-year evaluation of our district systems, monitor the progress towards the board goals, identify strengths and areas for continued improvement. Again, want to thank the board for the goals that we have, the social emotional well-being, the academic achievement, and the innovation and engagement. Great set of goals that you all came up with this year. Our leadership focus areas, direct observation through frequent campus visits. As a site principal, the analogy is that you're the baseball manager, so you're not out there pitching or hitting, but you're right there watching your teachers teach, and the action is in the classrooms, not in the principal's office. And determining as a superintendent, I'll be honest with you, Natalie and I were just talking, being on campus is where it's at, and that's been my goal, and I appreciate your support and cabinet support. I mean, being on campuses as much as I possibly can. That's where I really get to find out exactly the practices and the implementation of our system. And then again, assessing the consistency of implementation and evaluating the alignment between our practice, our data, and the board goals. So we'll start off with social emotional well-being. We've got counseling supports available district-wide, SEL lessons, social emotional lessons. We're acronym heavy tonight, Natalie, so I gotta, although yours were tougher with LPAC. So, our positive behavior intervention support frameworks are in place, and our behavior support team, which I'm excited for the study session that we're going to be having next week, where we get to learn more about that as well. Behavior and student support, we've increased the use of our proactive behavior strategies, we've improved staff access to behavioral expertise, and reduced the reliance on exclusionary practices. A lot of these policies have been in place for some time, and I just have to give credit to the board, to Natalie, to Rhonda, for creating these evidence-based systems and really sticking with them. And we've seen some great results because of that effort. Academic achievement, specifically the early literacy focus. DIBELS assessments are administered district-wide. Our U-Fly, which I know you've all heard about, our early literacy training. It was really neat being on campus today. We did a learning walk at one of the sites, and some of the upper grade teachers got a chance to see a kindergarten U-Fly lesson, and they were blown away with the kindergarten. They actually, now when I go back to my 3rd grade class, I know what kindergartners can do, now you guys are gonna be doing. So some great work and excitement when we think about, okay, this is what's happening in TK and K, how is that going to benefit our system and our students? And the classroom implementation across all the sites. Our dashboard, I know that we've talked about it, but it's so exciting that we have to continue mentioning it. Currently, the California School Dashboard monitors chronic absenteeism, suspension rate, English learner progress, English language arts, and mathematics progress. And again, this has been a state indicator and a state benchmark since 2017. And this year is the first year that we have all of our groups showing satisfactory progress. And that's through a lot of hard work of a lot of people and truly the direction of Natalie, like I said, implementing systems that work for our teachers and our students. We mentioned the dashboard results. We have stabilized and we're looking to continue to improve. Innovation and engagement, we've got our instructional frameworks in place, data-informed collaboration, and then our ongoing efforts to strengthen family engagement. Many of you have seen, and I know Laura, you mentioned as part of your report, how does a school with 130 students have 500 people at their school events and ticketed events at beginning dance concerts and things like that. Our schools are doing a great job reaching out to our community, and we know the power of getting our parents onto our campuses and supporting our efforts. Progress toward the board goals, social emotional well-being, I feel like systems are in place, and we're can continue to focus on our consistency and on the impact of those systems. Academic achievement, strong foundational literacy framework, and measurable improvement on state indicators. I will add on to the academic achievement, we all know this because it's been consistent, our language arts achievement in relation to not only ourselves when you compare Lakeside to Lakeside, when you compare us to the county and the state, we have several of our sites that are exceeding county and state levels. We're not there with math, and so we continue to, I feel really strongly about math transformations, and but math continues to be an area of emphasis in terms of continued growth. And then innovation and engagement. I can just tell you that so many of teachers, when you hire them and just professionals in general, you want everything to be perfect, and it's not always going to be perfect when you take risks. And when you have a board goal encouraging innovation and engagement, that gives people the kind of impetus to go ahead and try things. And not everything we try is going to work, but we're going to keep trying and keep innovating because our kids deserve that. So I really appreciate that board goal. And then the engagement piece, ongoing development. We've done a lot of work through administrator instructional rounds where we were actually looking specifically at engagement, and that work continues even though this year's Learning Walks is slightly a different focus. We're always looking at how we can engage our students, as evidenced by Lakeview's engagement through fun. I like that. The areas for continued focus, attendance improvement and monitoring. I've shared with you all our chronic absenteeism rate and the fact that that's dropped over 2% as a district. And we're looking at what we're doing. Natalie's done a great job at leadership meetings of, we had success, let's not rest on our laurels. And she's done activities where we've looked at high, medium, and low impact on our sites. And it's really been fantastic conversations among the principals and district leaders. Why have the results we've had? What do we need to double down on? What do we need to pivot on? And it's been quite fantastic. The sustained ELA and math growth, the fidelity of our social emotional learning and EIS implementation, and then strengthening our family engagement. So board oversight considerations, continue to monitor system effectiveness, review progress indicators, and support sustained implementation. I feel like again, we feel very fortunate to have a school board that encourages us, as Jim said, and you guys ask for the data, and we love providing it, especially when it's good data. Additional highlights and updates, Spanish and Mandarin immersion continues to be a focal area for our district, and I think I appreciate the board's direction in that. It's one of the things that makes Lakeside Lakeside. Our career workforce and vocational programs, and then all of our departments and programs, facilities and maintenance, extended student services, food services, special ed, lead preschool and technology. We continue to need to talk about what we're doing and talk about our systems that we have in place that are continuing to serve our students and our schools and our community. I just have to say on a personal note, what was most exciting for me to come back to Lakeside after being away for 8 years, it's the people. I've worked in 7 different districts in my career, and there's only one Lakeside, and it's the people that are here, their willingness to go above and beyond everybody in their efforts for our students. Our school board is fantastic. We have a very strong school board, and a school board, as we've mentioned, that's focused on students in our community. Our PTAs, some of our school board members are also PTA presidents at their sites. Great work that's happening through our PTAs, supporting our students, getting parents on campuses. Like I said, our staff is second to none. You're not going to find people that care more about their work than in Lakeside. Our families, they expect a lot out of us, but it inspires us to do better things on our school sites and their engagement. When we have, a play at Lakeview in the middle of the day, Rob was there, it's jam-packed. Those people, they prioritize their students and their education. And then obviously, we've always had amazing community support in Lakeside through our partnerships with organizations. People in Lakeside put their money where their mouth is. They want to see great schools and they support us. And just lastly, a few highlight pictures of different events, whether it's Christmas events downtown, whether it's our business department supporting Leap's preschool Halloween trunk or treat. There's always amazing things going on in Lakeside, and I think it's important to recognize everybody's efforts and to celebrate those efforts. And just tell you that not only am I impressed with the board goals, with the systems that we've got to do these, we're definitely making progress towards everything that we need to. So that concludes my report.
Is there anything else that needs to come before the board? No? All right, with that, we will adjourn at 6:51.
We're going to go to the next.
Wow.